Good evening. It's the fan phone in. Well, it wouldn't be a fan phone in if there weren't a few technical difficulties. With me, as always, it's my co host. It's Mark Ryman. How are we getting on, Mark? I didn't think you were going to make it tonight.
Well, I think you just assumed that I was going to be a lightweight and cry off because I've been at a stag do weekend. But no, I'm back in time to discuss the game, which I did watch. Interestingly, though, usually we either watch the game together at the ground or we have at least a conversation afterwards. Um, but due to me being away at the weekend, we've not really talked about it, so it'll be interesting to see whether our takes on this game are similar, and how people see it. Obviously, I've seen some of the online reaction after Friday night, but yeah, I'm feeling a little bit ropey, but I'll power through.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'm sure on your stag,
It wasn't
watching.
my stag, by the
No, I
way.
know it wasn't
Happily
your stag.
married.
Okay.
Just FYI, just in case my wife, in case my wife's watching, I guarantee that will never happen. But
on,
wasn't my stag.
on the
No.
stag that you are participating in, I'm sure
Yeah.
that was a real injection of fun watching that game because it was I know you haven't watched my post match. It was a game that happens.
It did happen.
Yeah, yeah. It was
Yeah.
yeah. What were
Well,
your thoughts from afar?
so we had to adjust plans slightly because obviously with stag do's, you plan them months and months in advance, and obviously we weren't to know that we're going to end up playing on that Friday night or even that weekend. Hopefully we would be in the championship and not even playing at that weekend. But anyway, so we had to adjust plans, and so everybody who wasn't a Luton supporter, there were three or four of us that were, had to sit through it as well. So I think that was a fun experience for them. Look, I think yeah, it wasn't exactly the most exciting game I've ever seen in my life, and I'd probably feel slightly differently if I had to pay to go and watch it. But it's the first game of the season. We won. I'll take it. I don't quite know how that goal went in. I still don't know. I've seen replays of it as well. It's got to rival that Hull own goal, hasn't it, from last season? There's definite shades of that about it.
It was a
But
beautiful own goal.
look,
Beautiful own goal.
it was. It
The
was an absolute
second,
beautiful header
yeah,
and
the
pinpoint.
second left his head, you just knew that was looping in and kissing the crossbar. It was so beautiful.
Yeah. We need to sign up Ryan Johnson as our number 9. Move over Jerry Yates. But yeah, I mean, look,
I was impressed with
I
their
think,
defenders. I was so impressed. Like
yeah,
Ryan
and
Johnson heading
I
away
think,
absolutely everything, and the other guy,
mhm,
the bloke, he looked like a rugby player. He was a massive,
yeah,
massive bloke.
they conceded the least goals in League Two last season. You can see why. And look, I mean, we also are going to have to get used to this a little bit. We are going to have to get used to grinding teams down this season. We know, well, I'm sure you'll agree with me on the lack of attacking threat. I think we had 2 shots on goal in the first hour or so.
Mm-hmm.
Lamine Fani should have probably made it 2-0 after then. That was probably our best chance that I'd seen anyway. But look, I mean, we know that already. We knew we needed attacking output. We know we've got some important players that are injured still as well. So I'm not despondent at all. We won, and look at the last 2 first games we had.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take that over a 4. The 4-1-5, whatever it was. I can't even remember what it was against Burnley now.
It
But
was
5-1,
4-1. It
4-1,
was 4-1.
4-1, yeah. And then obviously the Brighton game the season before. As first games of the season go, that it could be worse. And we all know as Luton fans, we don't tend to start the season particularly well either. Look, it was a potential banana skin. I think we both spoke about the fact that we could see us at least losing that game before it, despite the fact that we know we've got the better squad because of momentum and everything else. So we didn't do that. Um, Defensively, we weren't troubled really. Josh Keeley looks like an absolute brilliant signing. Some of his distribution's excellent. And we know that the Clark and Ali, once they get up to speed, there'll be more to come from them as well. I'm not sold particularly by Royal Walters defensively. I think attacking, he had some good play, and that obviously did very
One of
well,
our
and
best
maybe should have scored.
chances. One of our best
Yeah,
chances. Yeah.
100%. At the back, don't know, but still, maybe a question mark there. And we know that players like Walsh can play better than he did as well. So look,
Yeah.
I'm not throwing my toys out of the pram for it. I won't remember it in a hurry, but I'm not too worried either. I kind of expected that sort of game. I'd have hoped we'd have created more, but it wasn't that unexpected, to be honest. So yeah, that was my takeaway from it. It might have been because I'd already drank a fair bit by that point as well, so maybe I was slightly more forgiving.
Yeah, it wasn't an instant classic by any stretch of the imagination. In the crowds, the first 10 minutes, everyone was like really up for it, and then after that, it got very flat. Some credit to the Wimbledon fans; they were singing throughout. They were great. You know, they're hitting us with "Is this a library?" Yes, it was like a library. It was actually pretty piss poor. A lot of our fans have a sense of entitlement. I'm not going to say I don't have a sense of entitlement, but you do kind of expect better. I'm not saying I expected the town to just sweep away whoever lies in their way, but you know, you see how Stockport have done, and how Huddersfield were against Orient. You know, good sweeping attacking play. Even Cardiff, you know, Cardiff took a bit of time to get into it, but then when they started taking their chances, like
Free
they
kick.
yeah, that Colwell free kick was ridiculous,
Oh,
and then the second goal was a beautiful strike as well. Teams, they sort of hit their groove and then they don't look back, whereas we looked like we were stuck in second gear, like laboring into thirds, and it just wasn't happening for us. Um, so I hope Matt Bloomfield saw what happened there, and maybe it's as simple as Wimbledon are a very tough team to play against, you know. But the reality is we came down, they've gone up, and then there's also the psychology of being relegated. There's even more PTSD and psychology at play with a double relegation. There were only two players that started that game that were actually in the Premier League side, Mads Anderson and Jordan Clark, which I think is good. I think it's very important that we completely clear house of anyone that's been with us since the Premier League, because you know double relegations essentially it just takes your edge, it takes your killer instincts, um, and that is something that I feel I can at the beginning of the game I felt like we were moving the ball around with very little fear. There was comfort. There was confidence, and then after about 15-20 minutes, as soon as like the crowd sort of went a bit quiet, then the nerves settled in, and that's where the psychology also hits. That is that is the concern. But hey, there are still players to come in. You know, Jerry Yates, and you know, with Samson Tovide, you know, he was actually. I'm surprised he wasn't announced at the same time as Jerry Yates. To be honest, bit of a weird one, but I guess maybe there was a bit more in terms of agreeing bits that had to be done there. There's still players to come in, and we've got Cohen Bramall who's got to get up to speed, and then he can come in as well. It's yeah, I'm hoping in a month's time we're looking back at this and going, oh, that was a very atypical slow start, wasn't it? But yeah, we
I'm
moved the
confident
yeah
we will.
yeah
I am. I'm confident that we will do that. Yeah, and look, you can always look at other teams and say they started better than us, but you know, on the flip side of it, Plymouth lost to Barnsley, so at home as well, another team that's come down, and you would expect to do well. So look, yes, I agree with everything that you said, but we're well aware that a lot of the players that are on the pitch can certainly do better from an attacking point of view. I don't think Ali had his best game until later on. We started to see a little bit more of
yeah
him. Now, whether that's just so, look, we're all well aware of what he can do. So, yeah, I think we certainly will. Confidence will come, and confidence will come probably in the crowd as well. And while I look, I didn't get any of the atmosphere because we were watching it in a busy place. There's no way I was going to hear that regardless. So, didn't get that from my end, but again, that's kind of inevitable. I'm not saying it's okay, but it's kind of inevitable. But again, you start to get the wins and clean sheets, and the confidence will come on both sides. I think Peterborough away is a good game for us to come up next in the
mm-hmm.
league. I think that will be. We've got a sold out away end. Um, we know that Peterborough, obviously having well, they lost against Cardiff, but it's a good opportunity then for us to play a side that will hopefully come out a little bit more, and therefore we can hit them on the counter attack. Yeah, and obviously we didn't really speak about the two signings in there as well. As you said, looks like the guy from Colchester's more or less done and dusted, as you said already. But so we've gone from having no attackers to lots. But I mean, look, Jerry Yates for me is a good signing. I know that he didn't set the world on fire last season, but and Swansea fans aren't that disappointed to see him go. But we all remember how good he was for Blackpool. We all know how good he was at this level and in the Championship as well. And he's still quite young, right? He always stay relatively young. He's at late 20s. Yeah. So he should be around sort of peak time to be here as well. So I mean that's a real confidence booster for a number 9. I'm very happy with that. So there's definitely more to come. I think, especially when we can get a bit more balance in terms of pace as well. For me, I think the quicker Izzy Jones gets fit, the better. I think we're clearly missing that on that side. However they want to play Royal Walters, he's not got the pace of Ali. He's not got he's not going to run at players in the same way either. Obviously not playing the same position in that game and in the system either. But I think that will help the balance in terms of that too. But yeah, you're right. It will take a while to shift that mentality, despite the fact that we've got largely a new team. That most of those came in January onwards.
It's going to be 10 new signings when Tovide is announced. 10, which is quite a mega bit of squad churn. There are still players to be going. The likes of Chong,
you'd think
possibly so. Mengi. We are absolutely stacked up top. Yeah, Nakamba. I completely forget about him every single time. Like when he's mentioned, I'm like, oh yeah, we got Nakamba. It's absolutely disgusting that we're still paying his wage. Absolutely disgusting. But hey, why would he walk away from it? And
exactly.
Ultimately, it's one where obviously if there are no takers, we should utilize our parachute payments to pay him off. After all, he's only got 1 year of his contract left. So it's one of those where that is ultimately what parachute payments are for, to assist with the running costs of a club when you're relegated from the Premier League with players with big salaries. And ultimately he's probably on the biggest salary. So he's one that we should cut loose. But Gary Sweet's probably trying to get a fee for him, because all that other money is
that's it.
Ring fences, earmarks.
Yeah, well, look, I think to be fair as well, I think Mengi, Chong, and Nakamba were always going to be tough ones to shift, aren't they? Because we all know that they'll want to play at a certain level, and yet they haven't performed at that level for a while, and arguably not at all in Chong's case, or only for a bit at Birmingham. But that means they're always going to be hard to shift, and they're on big wages as well. So you're not going to get, even a lower end Championship club isn't going to be able to pay the wages that any of those people want. So a higher end Championship clubs, relatively good European clubs, really going to come in for these players, because I don't see it personally, and particularly in the cases of Mengi and Nakamba, you've also got their injury record to deal with as well. So who's paying that wage?
I'd ship him off to Saudi Arabia. Like, surely there's
without anyone buying them, or just pretend you're doing a warm weather camp one way.
Well, it's a shame because they are obviously club assets, but ultimately, other than Mengi, they're really not worth much. They're worth whatever someone will pay for them, and no one is paying for Tahith Chong. Absolutely, certainly, no one is paying for his wages, because he's always flattered to deceive. By the way, guys, we're just talking because no one has jumped on to call us. If you want to give us a call, the call link is in the description below the video. And Editor Kate has dropped it into the chat as well. Some comments. Andy Stockley, give Woodrow credit. Good run. Without his movement, no goal. To be fair, yes, it was a good run. However, we can't anticipate the fact that Woodrow was going to score it. We also, it's unfair to say that Woodrow wasn't going to score it. He did well to force the defender into making the error. Is Woodrow the answer?
Very good cross as well.
No, it was a very good cross from Nahki Wells, and Nahki Wells' movement throughout the game was very, very good. The problem was
Yeah.
And this was a massive problem. The fact that we weren't playing 2 up top, because whenever Nakiwell ran the channel,
Yeah. No one there.
what was happening in the box? Ali was often behind him. Jordan Clark was trying
wasn't
to
making the
bust the
runs.
gate. He wasn't making the runs. You need to play 2 people, because that's what happened. Like, and maybe if someone else other than Cooley, you know, maybe because he ran in behind Ryan Johnson, it essentially forced him to make the move. Someone else might have done something different. So horses for courses. Cooley did good there. But is Cooley the answer? No. He's too slow. Yeah, he's a good finisher. But I think Naki Wells and Brian Yates, that could be a very, very, very interesting strike force, genuinely. But ultimately, we gotta can this 3 at the back nonsense. We're playing it by virtue of having so many centre backs. That's the issue.
Well, yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. I don't think it's happening for that reason as well. I think it's going to be tough as well if we then, when we hopefully bring our new left back in, who comes out of that? Does Longwick come out? Because I thought he looked good. I thought Anton looked good. You know, but defensively they didn't have huge amounts to do, but I thought they was good. So that's an interesting question. I was going to ask this as well, but B Hat has just asked it too. Nordas wasn't in the squad, I don't think.
Yeah,
so
that was a very
what
weird
do you make
one.
of that?
Well, I think, and I made this joke to Brocky. I thought, and this is a joke that will only land if you've seen Milanik Ali's vlog about the time in Slovenia. I said to Brocky, I reckon Nordas was busy at Luton Who, telling them how weird it is that their first floor is called the first floor. It's like, did you know that in Norway the first floor is the ground floor? How funny! He seems like a real character. It's very funny, but I felt we didn't have enough striker options on the bench. You look at that bench and you're thinking, who's going to change this game? So yeah, there was Nelson, Kajua, Woodrow, and obviously Woodrow was the one that came on. Like, Nelson came on, but he sort of got lost in the in the mishmash of what was going on, because Wimbledon, by gods, that kit and everything, it looked like we were playing Wimbledon from the 90s. I half expected Vinnie Jones to be like breaking someone's leg.
2 foot. Yeah. I think I made exactly the same comment, but
great kit.
Surely that is the type of game for Nordas then. So why is he not even on the bench? I mean, look, as you said, Nelson got lost. He needed some physicality up there. He surely is that person. So, and he's been playing in all the preseason games as well. So unless there's an injury that's not been mentioned, which is unusual because we'll mention injuries even when they've not got them, it will be unusual if there is an injury we've not mentioned it. We think he's off then. That's my only kind of conclusion.
It's unfair because we paid a reported fee in the region of £3 million, which is not a significant, it's a very significant amount of money for us. He's barely had a look in. I think if he was on his way, that would be very, very, very unfair. I think it's.
It depends whose decision it is.
No, exactly, but I think he's a good option to have. I reckon. After Yates and Wells, Nordas should be the first person off the bench. He should be. Absolutely.
I don't disagree.
He should be off the bench before Woodrow. He's far more mobile, able to run with the ball, create his own chances. That's what I've seen. He's very strong. That's what I've seen from pre-season. Standard opposition, sure, but also his finishing's not too bad. That goal against what was it, Southend? I think Bing.
It was Southend.
First time.
Was the equaliser? Not equalising. It scored a day.
I
feel like it was the equaliser. Second goal, wasn't it? 2-0. Yeah.
It was a very tidy one like that, and that came after Corley Woodrow nearly skying the ball from half a yard as well. So, it's a weird one. One thing I want to say before Ash comes in as well, a lot of plaudits for Mads Anderson. Honestly, is this like is this like school sports day where everyone gets a medal? Did they seriously give him man of the match to boost his ego or something? He did nothing. I'm going to read out his stats. I was looking at this and I was watching it, and the eye test was like, ultimately, what has Mads Anderson done in this game to merit, the plaudits, the man of the match, and the 7.9 on FOTMob? I was like, what's he done? Yeah, 86% accurate passes. Okay, most of them were sideways to Cal Naismith. So 66 out of 77 passes completed. Okay, defenders always complete the most passes. 9 out of 16 accurate long balls. Yeah, he was booting it a lot. 9 clearances. Okay, so he hacked it away 9 times. 5 headed clearances. You expect that from a guy that's 6'5". 1 interception. 1 tackle. He made 1 tackle. And honestly, he won 2 out of 3 ground duels. Okay, he won 6 out of 8 aerial duels. He was up against Matty Stevens, who's not exactly the biggest boy on the pitch, is he? And
No.
they were playing 1 up top and with 3 defenders, for God's sake. Like, what is this? Is this like a participation medal? I honestly don't understand this love for Mads Andersen. And as soon as like McGuinness is back, the better, you know. And he
I thought he was fine.
Mads Andersen slipped once as well.
I thought he was fine. He didn't stand out, but then as you said, I don't think the defenders had much to do. So fine. I don't know who.
There was one
who would take
your
your man of the match for that game, because I found that quite difficult to choose, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, good point. I'd say Naki Wells.
He's struggling.
I'd say Naki Wells was good because he was starved for things they had to do. Keeley was good. I thought Keeley's distribution was excellent. The small amount of things he had to do when he had to close up on the halfway line, I thought Keeley was excellent. Like, can you imagine Kaminsky doing that and not like trying to decapitate someone? You're like, oh.
They've just played them in, assuming that was going straight to their striker, and of course it was just a great pass along the floor. It's brilliant, but you just expect it, right? It's great distribution, and it's nice to see a keeper that's a bit more commanding there as well, particularly for a young lad too. I don't disagree. I'm just saying that there was no one for me that particularly stood out. I don't disagree with any of the points that you said, but yeah, it's difficult, isn't it, when no one actually scored either, even though we won. That's a tough one. Right, should we get Ash in?
Yeah, we can do. I'm just putting in who was your man of the match. There you go. That is now in the ticker. So I want to hear from everyone. Let us know who is your man of the match. Do you want to do the honours and get Ash in?
Done it already.
Oi,
evening, Ash.
Evening,
how are
Ash.
you?
Hello, mate.
Hello,
Ash.
It was fantastic seeing you at the pre-season friendly. That was amazing.
I know. I'm so entertaining, aren't I?
Well, you know what? You easily could have just walked past me and just ignored me. So I really appreciate you coming up and saying hello. It was really good to meet you.
Yeah, it was a good game, that Bournemouth game, wasn't it?
It was. Who took your eye there? Because in my opinion, Fanny was a level above everyone, and Nordas didn't look too bad. Sure, he couldn't finish, but like their goalkeeper was absolutely massive, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was the size of me. The goalkeeper was.
Yeah, I think Nathan Ashmore should be in the Football League. He's a big boy, but Nordas, he created his own chances. Were you disappointed to not see him on the bench or featuring?
Yeah, I think I was really like wondering why Yates didn't play, but Nordas, I was wondering why he was not on the bench. It sounds like he's going to get sold.
What? Where are you getting that from?
Well, it looks like it, doesn't it? Like if he's not on the bench and the bench looked a bit weak, it looks like Nordas might be sold. It sounds like it if he's not on the bench.
Well, you only have space for 7 people on the bench, and let's have a look at who was on that bench. You kind of have to fill your gap. So we're Fanny, Nelson, Baptiste. So 3 midfielders, Woodrow as an attacker, McGuinness. You have to have a goalkeeper, and Kodja, who is another attacking option. Potentially should have been playing at the right wing. So you got Nelson, who can fill in up front as well as the wing and midfield. it's quite a small bench. Like considering for a couple of seasons now, we've been used to what, like 9 people on the bench. In the championship,
That's
how many
true.
did you get? How many did you get in the championship? 7, I reckon. Yeah, we've sort
Yeah,
of just been
same.
used to having as many people as we want on the bench and being riddled with injuries, so we can't actually put people on the bench and can't fill the bench anyway. So don't worry, I'm sure there will be injuries soon enough, and we'll see what happens. But are you in agreement that you would have rather had Nordas than Woodrow on the bench? Like, who else does
No,
Nordas replace on that bench?
well, we just have to wait up to October, November.
Mm.
If we have Woodrow and we have Baptiste still on that bench, that will be interesting. But I just wanted to say to you, I think in the future, I think we're just going to nick games, and I think we'll get promoted. I don't know if we'll get first spot, but I definitely think we will get promoted.
Okay, that's a bold call. I agree with you. Like right now, from what I'm seeing, defensively we look solid enough, but ultimately Wimbledon didn't really test us. I guess we'll see, but it could be a case of nicking games, like we did in the championship promotion season. You know, I see no reason
Yeah, that's
why
correct.
not.
Yeah,
But ultimately, right now, it doesn't look like we're trying to play football like that promotion season. Like from what I saw of the game. Well, I mean, I was at the
it looked
game.
a bit dry, didn't it?
Well, it looked like we
It
were
looked dry.
trying to pass past Revolution. You know, it looked like we're trying to be a footballing side instead of a bullying side. And that season we got promoted from the championship. We were a bullying side that could play a little bit of football. But in League
Yeah,
One,
It's been a very
yeah,
it's a
well,
bit early
sorry.
yet to judge. Until like end of September, then we can judge them. At the moment, let all the new players come through, let all the old players get sold, and that's what we need, don't we? We need the old players to get sold so that no bad apples are still in the team.
yeah, absolutely. What do you reckon about the likes of Mengi and Chong? Any advice for what we do with them?
Well, I think they might turn it over. They might change because their attitude does let them down, doesn't it? If you think that they've got so much talent, if they do what Alfie done, look, he's got a good attitude and he's gone to Millwall. That's such a great for Alfie because he is a fan of Millwall and he's going to his team of his dreams, isn't he?
I was queuing you up there for you to say throw a bucket of water on them.
Yeah, we could throw a bucket of water, but they're so injured, aren't they?
Yeah.
Injury-prone players. Maybe you could put them with Beckham in the ice. What's it called? Is it the ice tub, whatever?
Oh, the cryo suite, whatever
Is it the
it's called.
oxygen? Do they have like oxygen chamber one, like Michael Jackson or something? Or
Yeah, they
I don't
have
know.
they have all sorts. Like, have you ever done the stadium tour?
I've done that years ago. Yeah,
You need to redo it. Here's a bit of Hatters Heritage promotion. So the dates are out for August, September, and I recommend the stadium tour because obviously Kenilworth Road's not going to be here for forever. There are 3
yeah,
tour guides at the moment, and I recommend you can find it on the Luton Town website under Stadium Tours. I recommend it. It's 2 hours. You go around the entire stadium, up on the gantry. You go up in that champagne room, the studio box or whatever it's called, which is honestly one of the best views in the stadium that you'll ever see, and it's one that none of us will probably get a chance to see because we're not Sky pundits, and I think tickets for that is like £800 per person, and it seats 20 people. So
Oh,
I'm
okay.
no good at maths, but
Lot of
like
money.
it's a lot of money. It's a £800 per person for like one game. It's a lot of money. I don't know what the prices are this season, but anyway, it's a tremendous stadium tour. I recommend it thoroughly. I'm not just saying that because I'm a Hatters Heritage trustee. You see bits of the stadium that you would never see. Like, well, interestingly, it's amazing. In the Oak Road end, there's a bar for away fans, and it's the old gym. Like, there are pictures of Joe Payne like boxing like under the Oak Road stand when it was a gym, and now it's a bar. And you see all these things that you would never get a chance to see. It's really really worth it, and you'll meet the man, the myth, the legend, Roger Wash as well, or maybe Graham, who does a tremendous job as well as a trustee. It's honestly sensational. So I recommend anyone, if you haven't done it, do it. It's a great. You can get a ticket. You can get a gift ticket to buy it for someone else. Like, I might take my dad on it for his birthday that's coming up. It's brilliant. It's amazing. Right, plugs out the way. So Ash, you're looking forward to Peterborough then, and what do you think about Jerry Yates?
I think I've done my research on him now. I didn't know much about him. I had to ask a few of the fans about him, and they said he was a good player.
Yeah.
And I've seen like YouTube highlights of him. If we just can get him fit, I think it's all about fitness now and confidence. I think the fans need to encourage the players now, because they did. I think you might have noticed as well. They did look so confident. They looked so nervous the first game of the season. I think it's all about confidence now.
And playing two up top. Got to play two up top.
And getting luck is like that luck they got for that goal was amazing. Like, that defender who doesn't let any goals go past him, and that to go into the back of the net, that's like a miracle, really, because there wasn't much in it, was there, between Millwall and Luton? You couldn't see the gap between the two teams. They both looked the same, didn't they?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Look, they defended like absolute champions. I was talking to someone about this. It'd be interesting to get your thoughts on this, because we haven't got another caller in. Someone said to me that was the most undeserved win he's ever seen at Kenilworth Road, which is crazy, because the person I was talking to about this, he's been going to Kenilworth Road for about 40 years. He said that's the most undeserved win he's ever seen. I said to him, no, the most undeserved win was Derby last season. Can you think of any other undeserved wins?
Field Wednesday last season.
Wednesday, that was another one I said.
There's been
many.
Loads. There's
Bristol
been many.
City,
When I used to...
the season we went up, that was unreal. We beat them 2-1. That was unreal as well. Sorry, Ash, you carry on.
No, there's been many in the Oak Road end. Just like minutes before I've left the stadium, like they've Hilton and Collins scored in the past. Whenever I used to sit in the Oak Road end, like even yesterday, I walked out 1 minute before the game and they scored.
Yeah.
So that goal, I didn't see it, but I was just, if I stayed in the stadium, I would have seen it. But that's what luck is. Sometimes you need to give your luck to the team, and sometimes you don't have the luck to see that goal.
Yeah, but look,
that's the way it goes.
If you're gonna bemoan the victories where you're unlucky, well, the losses when you're unlucky, you got to celebrate the ones where you're incredibly lucky. Like, the high, never too high, never too low.
No, it's been brilliant. Like last season against Derby, I was sitting in the Kenilworth where I usually sit. And it was amazing to see the Derby players' face looking at me. And they looked so tired and depressed when they lost. So I think all it is the fans, they are brilliant. We've got some really loyal, die-hard Luton supporters. They just got to, even when we are just like 0-0, they need to, like what Wimbledon was saying, like, is this a library? They need to wake up a bit, the fans. They need to, but it is a Friday night. I don't think, be honest with you, I don't think the Sky people wanted to be there. I don't think anyone wanted to be there on the Friday night.
Tom Lockyer didn't want to be there.
After 40 minutes, they didn't.
Yeah, Tom Lockyer didn't want to be there either.
Yeah, and that's it. They didn't want to be there. So I think Friday night, I still think, when my argument is, I still prefer it to be on a Friday compared to on a Tuesday. I think that Tuesday nights it's just always raining. It's just terrible, the weather on a Tuesday night. But yeah, like I said, I think we'll be okay. Um, I think if we can get a few more players in, that'd be more great. Who have got, you know, but I'd like to ask you both, what do you think? You're saying like we're just about get through, like I'm saying, isn't it? On the skin of our teeth, so I think we get promoted. But do you think that when we get to better court, do you think that we'll still be sitting on the seats that we are sitting, or do you think we have to move somewhere else
Ooh,
when Plough Court is moved?
it's impossible.
Do
It's
you,
impossible to know, really. I think they're going to try and relocate people together because obviously, I've been sitting with the people I've been sitting with. I've pretty much sat in the same vicinity for decades, and I think they're going to try
yeah,
and move people together. But look, it's a plan. They got like years to consider how it's going to work. No idea. Look, that is one for our undisputed leader, our fearless leader, to decide. And I'm sure whatever he decides will be absolutely correct because he is never wrong.
yeah. I just can't wait for the players to come through. It's just that we've been spoiled so much in the past with so many brilliant players. We had Collins, Hilton. We have, you know, so many other players that I can't even express how many players we've had in the past. It's just going to take, at the moment, fans' favourite is Ali, I think.
He's
We
electric,
need to
isn't
get,
he? But look, Ash,
yeah,
it's time for new. It's time for new legends, new lore to be
yeah,
written. It's the next chapter. We've had a blip, and now it's time for Matt Bloomfield to pick up the pieces that Rob dropped all over the floor and stamped on.
yeah. It's like Cornick, he was a good player. We're so lucky in the past. We've had players which youngsters come through and given like 4 or 5 years, like Ollie Lee and his brother. We've had so many really really good players. Gutridge, McNulty,
No,
so many great
those were
players.
good years, but also in the past, we gotta look to the future. Ash, thank you very much for joining us. We have our next person in the waiting room, so
Thank you very
take
much.
care,
Take
mate,
care now.
and it was good to meet
Thank you.
you. I'll
Bye.
catch you soon.
Yeah,
Sash.
hopefully you will come down to the Kenworth one time, and you can have a laugh one time.
Oh, I hope so. I hope so. Take care. Have a great evening, mate. Yeah, I've been in the Kenilworth Road end. I went there during COVID. Actually, it was all right.
Yeah.
Should I get some comments from people before
Yeah,
we
yeah, do.
get the next person in?
I've been reading them while you were talking, actually.
Yeah, anything jump out other than all hell
Yeah,
dies?
there's a few people talking about their man of the match, so we'll go with that
Yeah.
first.
Okay.
Matthew says Wells for the cross. Yeah, fair enough. You pretty much said the same thing, and for others, Jamie Holbrook says Anderson was my man of the match. Walters looked good. Martin said Walters looked good. Yeah, he did going for us. Maybe it's just my existing kind of bias. I'm still a bit concerned about him going the other way, but yeah, he did look much better going forward.
It didn't help
Phil
having
talked about the
Mokoso
stadium
right
tour.
behind him. It didn't help having
No,
another
of course.
very young, inexperienced person right behind him.
Yeah. Yeah, Mason, Tovide and Yates up front. I think it's Tovide, or is it Tovide? I'm not sure how you pronounce it up front. Has pace, height, and strength. Yeah.
He looks like an Adebayo
possibly.
Mark II, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. Obviously, really young, really raw, but definitely some promise there. Rich, more undeserving than Derby at home. I disagree with that one. I think, look, yes, we didn't set the world on fire, but unlike Derby and Sheffield Wednesday, where they were banging the door down to score, which is what was happening, they absolutely dominated. That just didn't happen. Wimbledon barely got into our third. They had one decent chance, I think, in the whole of the entire 90 minutes. I don't remember the defence or the goalkeeper having to make many do anything. So for that reason, I don't think certainly they didn't deserve to lose, and I understand that Wimbledon fans would be upset they lost that game because they defended heroically, as you said. but they did not do any damage to us defensively. Whereas Sheffield Wednesday, how they didn't score 3 or 4 goals is beyond me. Oxford, the one we drew 2-2, same. You know, they were
That was
banging the door down.
Yeah, that
you
was
know.
so undeserved.
Yeah,
such
yeah,
an
all of
undeserved
those games, they deserved to, because they were having shots on goal left, right, and centre. For that reason, I disagree with that point. But fair enough.
On that
I think
Derby
Rich is
game, on that Derby game, it was hilarious because I was there with Ryan Dilks for that Derby home game, and when Carlton Morris scored, his face. Yeah,
you took a picture of it and sent it to me.
Yeah, I sent it around. Like, and obviously I wasn't on social media at the time, so otherwise I would have slapped that right up on Twitter had I been on Twitter at that point. His face was a picture. He couldn't believe what had happened in that game. So undeserved.
Yeah.
So undeserved.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that was hilarious. Smash and grab.
But I think Rich is in the green room anyway, so maybe that's something he wants to bring up.
Maybe
good segue in.
And Mason
bring
says,
him in.
"All hail Gary, all hail our fearless leader, all hail Gary Sweet." I am not.
We got the portraits in the background.
Yeah, yeah, you can't see it here. Yeah,
it's there.
Yeah.
Anyway, Rich is in.
Yeah. Good evening, Rich.
Evening, gents. How are we doing? Good summer?
Yeah. It's been good. It's been good. It was a much needed break from football, actually, to be honest. And I don't usually say that in the summer, but this season, I think we all needed a bit of a breather.
Yeah, it's been 2 really bad years, hasn't it? To be fair,
It certainly has. Yeah.
So I was kind of expecting Friday night.
Yeah.
I said it in the Discord the other day. I've got a feeling, especially at home, this has got the hallmarks of the year one of the conference due to the financial muscle that we have. And
what financial muscle?
What not been mentioned that we've got parachute payments, no.
Yeah, what parachute payments? As far as I'm aware, we have none. I watched back the game today, and the pre-match build-up. Like Sky flashed up a graphic. Obviously, it's changed now because we've signed Yates, but before that, it was Keeley, free, loan. Yeah, and I understand that. That's what a lot of League One teams do. I mean, with the exception of Huddersfield, who have splashed a fair bit of cash, and what Wrexham and Birmingham were doing last season. But yeah, that is the sign of the times in League One. Everyone relies on free agents and loans, and we're all at the bottom of the food chain, or close to the bottom of the food chain. Obviously, we have a bit more money for wages and whatnot, but yeah. We're not splashing the cash by any means.
We're not at all. As you say, we've got Keeley, we've got Yates on a free. I fully expect we're potentially going to spend on another left wing back, and we're probably going to part with some cash for Tovide from Colchester.
Yeah.
But I think that would be it. I mean, don't get me wrong. Some of the free transfers that we've done are good. Saville on a free, Naismith on a free. These are good signings at this level that we've managed to get through the door.
Do you think
some of them?
Do you think signing Naismith on a free signing Naismith and making him captain sort of pigeonholes us into playing a back three? As in, we cannot do anything else other than play a back three, because otherwise we sacrifice having Naismith being able to start. Because he is by no means.
But can he? Well. But he can play there though, can't he?
We can play left back, but he's 33.
The problem we have with this is, if we're saying that Naismith is just a centre back, we've got 3 quality centre backs that you'd expect to start, with McGuinness, Makoso, and Naismith. Mm-hmm. So if that is the case, then it's done and dusted. It's 3 at the back. If we've still got those, depending on who goes out. So yeah, the only out I really see from the centre back contingent is probably Tom Holmes.
Yeah, I forget about him. Yeah, Tom Holmes, maybe Mengi. But what I don't understand is, like, just play back 4, because Makoso was pretty much playing right back for a lot of that game.
Well, yeah, he was covering a lot for Walters when he was going up there, wasn't he?
Yeah.
The other problem, all I was going to mention on top of that, is you talk about centre backs. The other problem, of course, is you signed Saville to take away the defensive midfielder role, and you would assume Saville's going to start as many games as we can possibly start him in. He's been fantastic. We've not really talked about him, but pre-season, and I thought he was decent again at least. But he's been excellent, probably the best signing of the summer for me. Then you are limiting Naismith. He's not going to play left wing back, is he? So that's tough.
No, he's not going to play left wing back. He obviously hasn't got the. He just wouldn't have the pace, I don't think, to play that.
He wouldn't have the pace. He wouldn't have the engine.
The other thing with obviously the central defensive, if we can keep him fit, Baptiste is one for there as well.
Yeah,
but it's a case of whether he can stay fit.
That's it. We are absolutely stacked in that area. I mean, Walsh is a different kind of player, but he would be in the back. Yeah.
Like Clark was playing as a sort of wide 10, wasn't he? Which, I'd prefer him playing further back. We kind of got to hope for injuries so we can see a lot of these players, because right now we're just a bit too. The only part of our team that actually is favoured by this formation is our massive selection of centre backs. Everywhere else on the pitch struggles because of it. Yeah.
Especially up top.
Yeah.
And we saw that on Friday night. If you're going to play with the one up top, I would rather go at a 3-4-3 than do anything else. If you're going to persist with the 5-back.
I just don't think we should, but it's what we've done pretty much for the entirety of pre-season, with the exception of Bournemouth. Bournemouth was the only game where we played a straight up back four. And since
correct me if I'm wrong as well.
Yeah.
Is Bloomfield's favoured formation not a 4-2-3-1?
It is, yes. That is what he did.
It was a Wickham.
It was a Wickham, and he had a lot of success.
I'm not sure about Colchester.
Won 11 games on the trot with that formation. No idea what it was with Colchester, but that's where he was playing Tovide. I don't know. I'm sure we'll find out how his name is pronounced.
That was his favourite. Like you said, that was his favourite formation at Wickham, which was at this level, and for a while he had them ahead of Birmingham and Wrexham, who we know what they ended up doing.
Yeah.
And it kind of like, if you know that's what you want to do, I'm not sure why we haven't got a proper left back through the door yet. I know everyone will say, "Oh, but Alfie was here and he's just literally gone out the door." But we thought we'd lose Alfie last season, let alone this season.
Yeah,
I can't believe anyone actually believes that Alfie was going to be here on the 1st of August.
No, of course. He was obviously gone, but we probably should have sold a lot of our players while their stock was relatively high. That is just basic football economics 101. Sell your players while they're high, but, ego, essentially from the top, our supreme leader believed we were going straight back up again. So he was like, no, I'm going to keep all our players, regardless of whether offers came in or not. Either offers came in and we rejected all the offers, or, who did we lose ultimately? We lost Barkley. That was the only person we lost, other than Lokonga and Kabore. We lost no one else. And Giles, but Giles was pretty much gone in January anyway.
We loaned them out, hadn't we? Already?
Exactly. We kept everyone, and ultimately, off the back of a season where they all proved themselves right, should have shipped them all out. But I guess because we haven't learnt from many relegations. Certainly, I think that was probably the first relegation in 2020's time at the club, wasn't it? They obviously didn't know what was going to happen. They didn't anticipate the ego and the hubris that would have been in the players. And look, Rob probably talks it all up, didn't he? As well, saying, yeah, we're going straight back up. I still remember that BBC Three Counties radio interview. He's done the same thing at Middlesbrough as well. So we will be competing. Yeah.
Lucky as their pre-match comments on Sky Sports, I thought was quite interesting as well.
Oh, what
coming
was
out,
it?
and
What was it?
he basically came out on live TV and said, for the first time in 2 seasons, this transfer window has been a success.
Wow. Yeah, I missed that.
Oh, he's not wrong. Although January I think was fine, considering, but it was just firefighting. It just taking it back to formation really quickly. I think obviously the signing of strikers means that we are likely to go up top. I don't see you signing that many forward players and not. But I can't see him moving away from the 5 at the back at the moment. Even though I don't disagree, I completely agree with our players being far more suited to like a 4-3-3, for example. You know, we've now got what have we got? Ali as a left winger. We've got Kadir, who's right winger, and obviously Izzy Jones is a right winger ideally as well. So how they're going to fit in, how those wide foot players are going to fit in, I don't know. But
the thing is, if you're saying we're going to stick with a 5 at the back and we're going to go with 2 strikers, then you're saying Ali's going to be the left wing back going forward.
Yeah, well, this is the worry,
going to be right wing back, and essentially you've got Samson, Brown when he comes back, Woodrow. Well, Woodrow's a 10, isn't he? Nordas, Wells, Yates, all competing for one spot. Like
well, that's it.
It has to move to a 2 up top, and it has to take into account the wide men that we brought in, because you've got to play Ali, you've got to play pace on the other side as well. Where was Richards? Where was Jake Richards? The great young Jake Richards. Where was he? He was nowhere on the bench, was he? Yeah.
No.
Exactly.
The thing that worries me is what we're going to do with Mengi, Chong, and Nakamba. They're the 3 that concern me at the moment, because as much as anything else, they've not been seen anywhere with the exception of Mengi. Definitely Nakamba and Chong haven't been seen in pre-season, although Chong has been in some of the LTFC videos recently. With the wages they're on, does it get to the point where we get towards the end of the window, if we're not getting any offers, does it just get to the point where it's time to terminate contracts?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we were saying earlier, isn't
it?
Yeah.
Exactly what we said earlier. It has to be the case, because ultimately that is why you get a lump sum to sort of protect you, pay wages, pay off contracts. Well, maybe not pay off contracts, but pay wages, large wages that might not have relegation release clauses in them. Because if no one wants them, we got to get rid of them.
I mean, I would be amazed, Rich, if Nakamba and Chong we ever saw them in a Luton shirt again. I'd be absolutely amazed. I mean, Mengi possibly. But those 2 absolutely not. And as you said, if no one's coming in for them, then we are just throwing money down the drain by keeping them at the club. So yeah, they need to go. And you know, they've demonstrated for different reasons, strong attitude, the Canberra injury, that they can't be trusted anyway within that position. And we've got players now that are going to be miles ahead of them. So yeah, they've got to go. Mengi's a slight anomaly, although, you know, I've made my thoughts on Mengi's attitude clear before, but, you know, we might actually get some money for him. He's the only one I think I can see anyone paying any money for, even though it probably won't be the kind of club that he wants to go to, maybe. Who knows?
One last question for you before I shoot off. What do you do with Walsh?
Don't start him every game.
Where's Brocky?
The problem is, and I'll ask you both, can you trust him to keep his cool when you know that all he needs to do is show a raised eyebrow and the opposition are going to intentionally wind him up? We saw last season where he lost his cool.
He's a feisty guy as well. Like I when I was at Boreham Woods, he was like warming down at the end of the first half in front of me. I was like, Liam, who's going? And just short fuse. He was like, "Fuck knows," in a Scouse accent. You know,
was that Scouse? Was it? Sorry.
Well, what was it?
Cornish? I didn't know Boreham Wood was in Jamaica, but clearly it's moved.
Fuck knows, man. Yeah. It was,
no. Sorry, I shouldn't have encouraged that at all.
Yeah, honestly, he doesn't suffer fools gladly. He's obviously got that, scout spirit whereby he has no patience. And genuinely, last night I thought he was winding up to get sent off. There were a couple of times when he left one in a little bit late, and I was very worried. And honestly, I'd rather Baptiste over Walsh. I'd rather Clark playing next to Saville. I'd rather Fanny playing next to Saville. I'd rather a 4-3-3, to be honest. And Walsh not being one of them. But Matt Bloomfield's a fan.
You want that fight though. You want that fight just as a counter slightly. I get that. All completely valid points. You want someone with a bit of fight. You need it to be controlled to an extent as well. We don't want people. He doesn't seem like he would give in either, where others have done last season. And after that debacle of how many red cards it was, he came back into the team and he made a massive difference. And I still would argue that, despite the fact that it was silly what he did against Coventry, I don't think we should hold that one against him personally at all.
Yeah, but yesterday wasn't one of his finest games. It wasn't a great game.
No, it was certainly one that. Well, yeah, that's a kind of almost different point. I think purely on his game yesterday, then I don't disagree. He had a poor game really, and Baptiste's. I think he'll rotate anyway between Baptiste and Walsh. I think they'll both come in and out. And so he kind of did that towards the end of last season, didn't he? Walsh never finished a game, especially the Cov one, but he didn't finish a game, did he? Came off at like 60, 70 minutes. I think that'll probably be what happens. But I kind of think you want to try and give him the benefit of the doubt. I know that we don't want to cost ourselves a game because of it, but also, if he does come good because he kind of feels like he owes the club a little bit now, he could be one of the most important players this season for that reason, to drag us through when we're not doing so well from a mentality point of view.
Sure.
There's a bit of a...
But him and Saville should be playing at the same time. That you don't need him and Saville.
No.
Because between them, it's sideways passing. You need someone that's going to pass forward, pick the ball up and drive. Liam Walsh, from what I saw prior to... from his time at Coventry in League One, he picked up the ball when you drive forward. There's none of that. Probably because he's worried he's going to get injured. But Saville's not going to do that. And I see in the comments, Gamer Flex says, thought Saville was average. And Kate says Saville didn't look fit. That may be. It's first game of the season. But you want one person that's sort of going to be going laterally, the Kevin Nichols type. But even Kevin Nichols passed forwards sometimes, didn't he? You want someone that's covering, patrolling, and then you want one person that's going to break from midfield. Matthew Spring type, and I think Lamine Fanny is probably the closest type we have to that right now, to actually grab the ball by the horns.
Yeah. If he stays, that he's going to be huge, and that's another one to add to the mix. And if we're playing five at the back, that's even more people to play less positions as well, isn't it? I mean,
exactly. We're cutting our nose off to spite our face by playing three centre backs. It is the most negative formation. Even if you can push a right wing back all the way up, and you can put a left wing back all the way up. Essentially, if you have Ali there and a left wing back in Bramall, or you have Kajua, and then you have Walters or Isaiah Jones. Essentially, you're leaving the middle of the. You're not exploiting the middle of the pitch. And one thing I was saying to everyone around me yesterday, I know we're going long on this. One thing I said to everyone around me yesterday, I want to see us use the middle of the pitch a bit more. And ultimately, the goal came from utilising sort of the middle of the pitch. Ali cut in instead of going out wide. Drove through the middle of the pitch, and then we started creating chances. Fanny had that chance through the middle of the pitch. I think Baptiste had a chance through the middle of the pitch, because essentially yesterday, crossing in over and over again, it was just meat and drink for those two big lugheads they had in the middle of the park. Middle of defence. We got to come up with other plans, and
I think we'll need to do that more this season than we would have done at any point in the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, we're going to have to break teams down. We're a scalp now. We're 100% a scalp.
Yeah.
Teams are going to just sit back like that and they're going to be a lot more disciplined. They're not going to be nice enough to head the ball into their own net for us. Currently, own goal is the top scorer for us.
Yeah,
excellent.
Yeah, can you
heard
believe
that one
it?
somewhere before?
Well, I think it'll be better at Peterborough. I do. Maybe that's blind optimism, but I think that will suit us better playing away from home. So we'll
I
see.
think
And it'll be a test for Bloomfield as well, whether he can adapt better than Edwards.
It's also one game.
Yeah.
I think we should obviously give them quite a bit of slack. It's one game. There aren't that many here anymore that were here from the double relegation. Let's see where we are in 5-10 games time.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much, Rich. Really appreciate it. Come back anytime.
You're welcome, gents. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Right. I feel that was that was a very successful phone-in, I believe. We had
stayed awake.
Yeah, you stayed awake. I stayed awake, mate. I've been up since 4:30 this morning. Can you believe it? Well, you can believe it. You know exactly why I've been up since 4:30.
Yeah, but yeah,
I
can believe it indeed.
Absolutely.
But we did it.
We did it, and it's Monday tomorrow. And we're playing Peterborough on Tuesday? When's the next game? This is
no, it's the weekend, isn't it?
Is it this weekend?
This weekend.
Oh yeah,
it's an early kickoff on Sunday. I'm going. I'll be there. So if anyone's about, say hello.
Buy him a drink. If anyone's around, buy him a drink.
I might have recovered by then. I'll be at Peterborough and hopeful for a bit more excitement and attacking threat, which I think we'll get definitely.
Yeah, look, this is where we see if Bloomfield can actually anticipate and change depending on it, and we'll see a team that's actually going to attack us a bit more as well. So this is where we see if he is Rob Edwards Mark II or whether he is genuinely a talented manager. And hopefully we see a formation change. But hey, Bloomfield, I watched the first episode of the Birmingham documentary, and what that went to show was how ownership ego can derail a season like that, because Birmingham was 6th under Eustace, and then the owners came in and were like, we want someone sexy, so they go and get the sexiest man alive, Wayne Rooney, and then they go and get relegated, pretty much confirmed by John Eustace. John Eustace's Blackburn winning on the final game of the season, which consigned them to relegation. That goes a long way to show how clueless owners. I'm not saying our owners are clueless at all, but I am saying ego. There's been a lot of ego, and they stuck by Rob way too long. But
they have,
and a clueless manager can derail a season.
He's not clueless. I think Bloomfield's already shown that he can adapt and change, and he certainly did that. He had a very poor start, understandably, and he got us playing. I think we were the 3rd best team in the league when we got relegated.
Took 8 games to get
only
a win.
Burnley, true, but you've got to, but we both know what he inherited, not just players, the mentality that he inherited. He was never going to turn that around too quickly. That's not on him. That's on the board for not putting him in place earlier. And we were only behind Leeds and Burnley when we lost on that final day. And obviously, look, he needs to learn some quickly. But I think, we get a couple of wins behind our belt, and things will start rolling forward. I feel more positive, particularly with the signings as well. I think there's some potential there. I really do.
Yeah, there's a lot of exciting attacking talent in, but we need to adapt to take into account, and hopefully, with the likes of Yates and Wells now and Nordas, hopefully we will change the formation, and Tovide as well, because he looks very exciting. I bet we'll never see him though. He's going to be another Pepple, I reckon. we won't see anything of him. We're going to loan him out somewhere. I don't know, but essentially we have so much exciting attacking talent. We need to use it. But onwards to Peterborough, and we're going to have lots of content coming. I think we've got to do our championship game week 1 prediction. We'll have a little go at League 1 prediction as well. Like, how did you get on in your League 1 predictions?
I don't know. I was thinking as you said it. I think got a handful right. The easier ones to predict, really. I predicted at least three or four draws. I didn't realise that people don't draw in League One clearly, but no. I'll learn that for next week.
Well, that was.
But apart from
to be fair, that was the first time that ever happened.
Yeah,
and it was crazy. I see in the comments. It was crazy seeing Luton going from 1st to 12th, like that in the space of 24 hours. But hey, that happens, doesn't it?
Yeah. Don't look at the league yet.
No. You got to give it at least 10 games before anything
10 games. That's the one.
In concrete. Yeah. 30 points on offer. Yeah. Luton will be on 30 points. Wait and see. All hail supreme leader Gary. Right, everyone. Thank you very much for staying with us tonight and listening and bearing with us while we have the technical errors. Everyone, have a good week. Yeah, I guess have a good week because it's football season, baby. So let's see what happens. And most importantly, as always, come on, you Hatters.